Welcome to another MTGMoxBox video, your destination for Magic the Gathering box breaks and more. If you like what we do, please support us by participating in our box breaks. You can find us on our website, MTGMoxBox.com, or through our listings on eBay under seller handle MTGMoxBox. You can also find us on social media in the links in the description below, and watch us play Magic on Twitch under MTGMoxBox. Finally, don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment to let us know what you think. In this Commander Pageant video series, we highlight commanders that we personally picked and talk about how we would build a deck around them.
We will talk about a theme or win strategy to build around, and we will highlight several cards from more recent sets that will support these strategies.
Then we'll go deeper into one of the chosen commanders to build out a rough deck list.
Alright, in this episode of Commander Pageant, we'll be picking out commanders from the Brothers War and Brothers War Commander.
There will be 7 slots in the set: white, blue, black, red, green, multicolor, and colorless. Lands in the set and the transformer cards will be treated as box toppers, and prototype artifacts will be assigned to their respective color slots. For more details, visit the links in our video description below.
Alright, so this is Tony, and for this set I picked Liberator Urza's Battlethopter.
This is Joseph. I picked Urza, Chief Artificer.
And this is Lawrence. I picked Myrel, Shield of Argive.
Alright, so Liberator Urza's Battlethopter is a legendary Thopter artifact creature, costing 3 generic mana. It is 1/2 with flash and flying, and it has the ability allowing you to cast colorless and artifact spells as though they had flash. For its last ability, it will get +1/+1 counters when you cast spells with mana value greater than its power. And as soon as I saw the Battlethopter's ability to flash out colorless and artifact spells, I knew I had to try to build my first all-colorless commander deck. Having a Vedalken Orrery-like effect built into the commander is a great way to sneak out some mean giant Eldrazi. Plus, we'll throw in some of our favorite artifact combo pieces as a backup plan, because the chances of actually winning with Eldrazi is probably pretty low. So with the colorless commander, we have plenty of artifacts to use for ramp. Outside of your favorite mana rocks, we also have some new cards to create Power Stone tokens. Thran Spider, Hollow Tagson, Slagstone Refinery, and Karn Living Legacy are a few examples. Power Stone Shard is an interesting mana rock from Dominari that can pair well with Prototype Portal, so you can make a bunch of copies and get a lot of mana that way. And we can also take advantage of Extraplanar Lens to exile our wastes to increase the mana production without giving our opponents a similar benefit. While it shouldn't be an issue ramping up mana in our deck, our options for draw, removal, and interaction are quite limited. Fortunately, our commander allows us to cast colorless sorceries at instant speed, which gives us slightly more options, including the lessons from Strixhaven. So some of those lessons include Introduction to Annihilation, Introduction to Prophecy, and I believe there's one more, I can't think of a name right now. But in addition, you can also add Wandering Archaic, which allows you to kind of piggyback off of your opponent's instant and sorcery spells. Then there's the ones from the earlier sets, Warping Whale from Ode to the Gatewatch, Scour from Existence, and Titan's Presence, both from, I think, Battle for Zendikar. Did I mention our options are limited? They're not that great, but they are available in this particular set or deck. And then finally, once we have enough mana, we can try to bring out some of our big guns. Ulamog, Kozilek, Emrakul, and Ugin. I should note that at this time, unless your opponents are pretty worn down from fighting each other, most likely you will get targeted and knocked out if you try to bring out one of these baddies. However, I've set the bar pretty low for this deck. If I can resolve an Eldrazi spell in the game, then I'll consider that the deck would have done its thing and would be happy getting knocked out at that point.
Seems like you can use some help with the removal department. I would recommend Ugin, the Ineffable, from War of the Spark for targeted removal. For board wipe, you can always add All Is Dust from Ultimate Masters, because that'll hurt you the least. Finally, since you're going to use a lot of colorless mana, I would also add Forsaken Monument from Zendikar Rising to double up your colorless mana base.
Alright, and since your deck is pure colorless, you might need additional protection from all the arsenal that is available to the other colors. I would suggest adding Crypto Thrall from the new Warhammer 40k set, which gives your artifact creatures hexproof. Mirror Retriever and Junk Diver from Commander 14 to give you some graveyard recursions when you need it. This is Joseph. Again, I picked Urza Chief Artificer. It is a 3 white, blue, black to cast 4/5 legendary human artificer. He has affinity for artifact creatures, making him 1 less to cast for each artifact creature you control. He gives your artifact creatures menace, meaning they have to be blocked by 2 or more creatures. Lastly, at the beginning of your end step, he gives you a colorless construct creature that gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. I currently have a mono blue Urza Lord High Artificer Thopter deck. And always feel like I could be doing more if I have access to other colors. Well, this new Urza definitely fit what I was looking for. The idea is to build an army of Thopters or use artifact creatures with +1/+1 counters that can be removed, a splash of creature control, or win by mechanized production. Now that I have access to white and black, let's see what else I can do with this deck. First, I want to keep my Thopter theme. Some of the existing cards I use that should still be sufficient for this build are Thopter Assembly, Thopter Squadron, Psy Master Thopterus, Whirler Rogue, the new Liberator Urza's Battlethopter, stealing that from Tony's deck, and the Thopter Shot from this new set as well are some nice additions. The Assembly replenishes my Thopters when I run out. The Squadron has some Go Infinite capability that I will get into later. The Liberator gives my colorless spells flash, and it can get really big. Psy, Whirler, and the Shop gives me some utility effects and are Thopter related. Besides Thopters, there are some other artifact creatures that come into play with +1/+1 counters on them, such as Triskelion, Walking Ballista, and Monoskelion. The Triskelion is similar to a Thopter, where the +1/+1 comes off as a Triskelion Light.
That's easier.
But can also be sacrificed to deal damage. Triskelion, Monoskelion, and Walking Ballistas can all deal direct damage with the +1/+1 counters when removed. To continue to add more +1/+1 counters onto the creatures, I have some proliferating cards such as Inexorable Tide, Flux Channeler, Sword of Truth and Justice, and also Steel Overseer can add +1/+1 counters to my artifact creatures. Now I can make a wide army with my Thopters with Triskelionites, Lovites, and potentially buffing them with Proliferate. And the additional +1/+1 counter on creatures such as Walking Ballistas, I can ping creatures with certain effects such as Basilisk Collar to headshot any non-indestructible creatures, Charisma to recruit any creatures, and Sigil Sleep to send any creatures back where they came from.
Terrible.
What, kidnap?
Now that I have access to black, I can add Sadistic Glee on Thopter Squadron to gain +1/+1 counter on it when a creature dies. I can sack a Thopter to Ashnod's Altar for mana and create infinite Thopters. I can also include Tezzeret Master of the Bridge, which can provide ramp to my creatures and Planeswalker spells, and its +2 ability allows me to do X damage to each opponent where X is the number of artifacts I control, and ideally I should be controlling a lot of artifacts. I also gain X life. With white, I can add Anointed Procession to the deck, which allows me to double my Thopter tokens, so infinite times 2. I also want to include Urza, Prince of Krug, which gives artifact creatures you control +2/+2. Finally, another win con I mentioned earlier, which is Mechanized Production, which I can enchant on a Thopter during the controller's upkeep. If you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name, then you win the game. That is it.
What a scary deck with Basilisk Collar and Charisma. Since most of your creatures will be artifacts, you can add Thopter Spy Network and get some card draw advantage. You can also add Organic Extinction as a board wipe. Finally, another win con card you can consider is March of Progress to get a copy of all your artifacts if you overload it.
Oh boy.
Add 2 cards.
So I think the menace ability that your commander gives to your Thopters is something that should not be overlooked. Flying and menace often means your Thopters are getting through to the opponent, so cards that trigger on your creatures dealing combat damage would be beneficial here. Things such as Reconnaissance Mission and Rogue class could be worth a slot. Also, I want to mention one other thing for Mechanized Production. You don't actually have to enchant one of your Thopters. As long as you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game. So it doesn't have to be enchanted to one of those 8.
Even though it's an aura.
Yeah.
Oh, you could just be on the board.
Yeah. So if you happen to have enchant a Thopter, but you have 8 treasures, you could still win the game that way. So
Shut up. Shut up.
something to
So
point
you're
out.
saying I can enchant my soul ring and still win the game?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to enchant anything, right?
Well, you have to enchant an
something.
artifact
Oh,
you
you have to
I have
control,
to enchant something.
but it doesn't
that
have to
will
be the
double it,
one.
But he's saying that
It doesn't have to be
it doesn't need to
enchanted.
be the Thopter.
Yeah.
Board warning.
Yeah. Just wipe everything. When you see mechanized production, just wipe everything.
All right, this is Lawrence. I pick Myrel, Shield of Argive. She is a mono-white human soldier. During your turn, your opponents can cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. And her second ability is whenever she attacks, create X11 colorless soldier artifact creature tokens, where X is the number of soldiers you control. I just love both of her abilities. And my strategy on using Myrel is really straightforward. You just slow your opponents down with the early game and then go wide with soldier tokens to overwhelm your opponents. So her first ability is basically a stacks ability. Once she's on the battlefield, your opponents won't be able to do much during your turn. However, her casting cost is 3 white, so it'll take at least a few turns to be able to cast her. So to slow down your opponents even more, I would add Deafening Silence, Rule of Law, Archon of Emeria to limit the number of spells your opponents can cast.
No one can have fun.
If I can't have fun,
Yeah.
who can have fun? You can also make it more difficult for your opponents to tutor their deck by adding Leonin Arbiter or Aven Mind Sensor, so that whenever they search, they won't be able to search their whole library or they need to pay more. But if all that fails, you can always add Silence or Orm's Chant as a last resort to make them not be able to play spells. To get card draw advantage, the obvious choice would be Esper Sentinel from MH2. Since you'll likely be adding soldier tokens every turn, Mentor of the Meek, and Welcoming Vampire, as well as Benny Brack's Zoologist would also allow you to add more cards. And for
They don't disqualified. Zoologist is not a soldier.
he can be recruited. He just doesn't know it yet. And then for ramp, Sword of the Animus and Go Vine Pick would be good to ramp early. To protect Myrel and allow her second ability to at will, you want to add Auric, Master Tactician, Bastion Protector, Horn of Valhalla, to basically protect her, to make sure she doesn't get blocked, and to make sure she's indestructible. And then there's also the usual case where you can just use Rogue's Passage or Prowler's Helm, unless you're playing against Tony's wall deck, or Trailblazer Boots, since your opponent most likely have non-basic lands.
Disenchant.
Here is where we can use her second ability by going wide, as wide as possible. Let's use Lithofoam Engine from Zendikar Rising or Strionic Resonator to just use her ability again to double up the number of soldiers even more. Then there is Defiler of Faith from Dominaria United that would, instead of white, you can just pay with your life.
Interesting.
And it'll allow you to create 1/1 white soldier creature token whenever you cast a white permanent spell. So that's all your spells.
I know about this.
What is this
I have to do
synergy
some more
grossness?
research.
Finally, there is Keeper of the Accord, Anointed Possession, like Joseph said earlier, Call of the Coppercoats, Nomad's Assembly, and Darien, King of Kildor, that would just spam soldier tokens like no other. So even if you're dealt damage, you can get soldier tokens. So don't attack me. There are also other cards that you can buff your soldier as well, but I just want to keep this brief, so I didn't want to go over them. But I just want to show some other fun win con cards, like Halo Fountain.
Oh, yeah.
You untap 15 tap creatures, you win the game, so that's all your soldier tokens. Finale of Glory, you can create X2 white soldier creature tokens with vigilance. If X is 10 or more, you also get X amount of 4/4 white creature angel tokens. And finally, True Conviction, creatures you control have double strike and lifelink, so that should be able to do it. Oh, last but not least, since Walking Ballista was mentioned earlier, there's an obvious combo with Heliod, Sun Crown. You just have to have both to be on board, and Walking Ballista needs to have at least 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And you use Heliod's ability to grant lifelink to Walking Ballista, remove counter from the Ballista, deal 1 damage, you gain 1 life. Walking Ballista gains back the 1/1 counter, rinse, and repeats.
Oh.
Both not soldiers, just saying that.
I didn't say that was a requirement.
All right. Soldier Boy. I think that should be your deck's name. Another card you might want to consider for your deck. Early control pieces, Grand Abolisher from Commander 14, which does the same as your Commander's first stacks ability. That should give you some backup in case you can't get your Commander out early enough, and also gives your opponent another creature to target. Dawn of Hope is an enchantment that can pair up with your Heliod Sun Crown for some card draw and also create more soldier tokens for you. Finally, I would suggest Auriok Steel Shaper. It's another card that can buff your soldier tokens when it is equipped. And there's also there's another soldier you might want to consider. Sorry, forgot to mention that. More like a pet to bring along. Rescue Retriever. It's from this new set as well. It has Flash. When it comes to play, you get +1. When it comes to play, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on each other soldier creature you control and prevent all damage that would be dealt to other attacking soldiers you control.
What a good dog.
Yeah. Nice puppy.
Yeah, Myrel is definitely going into my Darien deck.
Hey, what?
You already listed many of the good creatures already, but in case you want to lean further into the gold-wide strategy and care less about soldiers, it might be worth considering Adeline, Resplendent Cathar from Midnight Hunt.
Oh yeah.
She makes human creature tokens instead of soldiers. And Mono White doesn't require too much help on the removal side. One card that might be worth considering that synergizes with the strategy is Kabira Takedown from Zendikar Rising. Because as a double-faced card, it can be played as a land, so shouldn't be too hard to find a spot for this one. And I think I found one more earlier while looking. I think it's a Planeswalker, a Johnny Strength of the Pride. I think from the Core 20 set.
Before he turns bad.
Yeah, before he gets
evil.
Yeah, assimilated. What completed? Yeah. So on this one, I think his -2 ability is create a 2/2 white cat soldier creature token, named Johnny's Primate. With whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on a Johnny's Primate. So, kind of works well with the whole Heliod Walking Ballista combo as well. As if you needed to win more.
Just in case infinite counters
Just in case you want to insult to injury.
Thank you.
What did you guys think about our deck direction? Would you build them in a different way?
If you liked the video, please click like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, and tell your dog.
If you like box breaks, please check out our past box break videos or join us in our live box breaks.
And if you're curious about price trends of singles from recent sets, check out our Price Monitor series from our channel.
Alright guys, as we said earlier in this video, we do have the listings for the Brothers War box breaks up on our website at MTGMoxBox.com or under seller handle MTGMoxBox under eBay. 7 slots for each of those boxes, 6 slots left for the set box. And then what's changed from last time is Neon Dynasty for the collector box. There are 7 slots left. We are actually not going to do Mystery Mox Box tomorrow. We're taking a break. We will come back on December 1st to do our next mystery Mox box, so stay tuned for that. We will do the giveaway now. So go over there, copy the YouTube link over, comment picker. Good luck, everybody. XX Jix. All right, so I guess that's your favorite card. Looks like you're talking about Jix Yawgmoth Predator, a Phyrexian Predator that whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. Oh, very good for black. I can see why you like that. Well, congratulations. Please contact us via our website under the Contact Us link, and we will send you the gift card code. With that said, I think that's the end of this video. Leave a comment for the giveaway next time. Thanks for watching, everybody.